Yo, 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 yo. What's up, all you burner stoners and potheads? This is Weedman 420 with the Weedman 420 Chronicles. How are all you vipers doing out there, Mrs. Weedman?
Mr. Weedman.
How the hell are you?
Chilly, but good.
It did drop a little bit, that
It
temperature.
did. We went from 50 to 20 overnight.
Yeah, right? Hey, everybody out there in the world, hopefully you're smoking some big fat doinks while you're listening to the show. Mrs. Weedman and I are about to get normal. And we are smoking a strain that was given to me by a good friend, Big Earl. And this is Triple X. And what I read about it was it's a mixture of OG Kush, Bubba Kush, and Granddaddy Perp. And it's a grade A marijuana strain that leans strongly towards the indica side. 70-30, due to being an indica-dominant medicinal marijuana strain, has excellent relaxation effects on your system. It has big, deep green colored leaves with brownish hue. It can be grown both indoors and outdoors. Triple X has a pungent aroma and flavor with strong hints of skunk, earthy, and sweet flavors. Different users have rated its taste and smell as an A+, which shows that both these elements have a great impact on them. Not really so sure on the THC percentage, but here it says an average 15 to 18%. The strain has a strong yet relaxing effect on your body that makes it great for antidote for depression and anxiety. It helps to mitigate the terrible effects of stress and depression, providing you with mental and physical peace. Ooh, I like that. In addition to being used for depression, Triple X can also be used for treating a variety of pains. Pain management centers often use for treating in their patients. It's a safe strain, but has a few side effects, including dry mouth and dry mouth and dry eyes. So, effects: happy, uplifting, chronic pain, depression, insomnia. Flavors are herbal and spicy, and the aromas. I mean, I smell the aroma. I mean, it is very, very, very pungent. Sweet pine, lemon, and earthy flavors on this one. So we smoked it the other night when we first got it on Sunday, and I tell you what, the euphoric effect of it was amazing. Can I have a hit of that?
You can have some.
Thank you.
I suppose I'll share.
Did you like this smell?
It was tasty.
Yeah, it's very tasty.
Smelled good.
Yeah, it's
Tasted
really
good.
nice. I'm looking forward to this mellowing me out and helping with everything I
We
need.
were smoking that. We played soccer with Yuki, the dog, before bed on most nights. And I think when I smoked this, I was seeing like halos around the lights. Remember I said that? I'm like, I can't see the ball. I'm seeing too many halos.
You did. You did.
It was definitely euphoric.
Yes, it's very
Quite
euphoric.
yummy.
It's very quite yummy, dude. And the sleep on it was amazing. So good job, Big Girl. Thank you for the Christmas
Thank you,
strain. Christmas is over.
It is.
Christmas is over. It comes so fast and it ends so quick, or it comes so quick and it ends so fast, however you say
Wow.
it. But boy, oh boy, all of a sudden it was like Christmas Eve was here. We cooked, got everything ready, went to our sister-in-law's house, and next you know it was 11 o'clock and we were home. All
Yeah, but it's more about like the lead up to Christmas.
Yes.
It's like the month of December is every free minute is something to do with Christmas, it seems. right?
You took 2.5 weeks and made Christmas gifts for the family.
Well, it didn't take 2.5 weeks to make them, but yeah, I did the project over 2.5 weeks. Yeah.
It was amazing. You made
In my free time.
I don't know. We call them ornaments.
No, they were like little wall hangers.
Wall hangers out of clay,
out of clay.
and you put
They were
their
ceramic
zodiacs
with
on.
everyone's zodiac
Right.
sign. Yeah.
And then you put like different fillers, I guess you would. What would you call it?
Beads and stones.
Yes, beads and stones and not feathers, but like what were the other
Like
stuff?
tassels
and
and-
stuff.
yeah.
Yes, thank you. Everybody was very impressed with your making of the wall ornaments.
Yeah.
That you had a lot of people come up and say this is really cool and asked if you bought it.
Yeah.
That was the cool thing. Like people thought you went to the store and bought these.
Yeah.
So and only one screw up.
I know. And of course, like the newest person into the family, O-Dog's boyfriend.
Yes.
I screwed up his somehow. I still have to look back at my notes because I like double checked and triple checked on everybody. I mean, I'm human, right? I made a mistake.
We'll make another one.
So
for
now I
him.
got to make him a new one.
Yes, yes. But it was very nice. Very great gesture. And then what we did Christmas Eve was something different that the family never got to experience. Now, we have a lot of cannabis smokers in this family. And over the years, I've always smoked, but I always did the walk down the block with one of the brother-in-laws, and hit the oney and came back and we were fine, this year. But as the years have gone by and as cannabis is getting more and more common around the household, around people and around family members and people knowing people are smoking, we did something different. What did we do?
Well, we packed a shit ton of weed to go to both Christmas Eve and Christmas Day
Right.
and share with everybody.
Yes.
But then we realized we had so many little trinkets and giveaways and promotional items and samples of product that I said, you know what we should do? A White Elephant weed grab.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we made up 16 different little bundles of gifts of
Yep.
little things. You know, it was like lanyards and grinders and maybe a rolling
Weed.
tray. Some people got bud. Some people got
Pre-rolls. Some people got
pre-rolls,
chillums
cartridges,
filled.
chillums.
Cartridges.
Had a bong in there.
Yeah. Edibles.
Like cotton bags and vapes. We had all sorts of shit.
Edibles. And
Lots of edibles. My one niece loves her shrooms. I had all sorts of shroom samples. So that went into one bag, and she got her own bag, and everyone else was like, "What?"
So happy.
She was so happy.
But everybody got like 2 or 3 or 4 items, you know, depending on what it was. But
And we did a white elephant with it.
yes.
And we thought, all right, we're gonna let's wait till everyone's had like dessert and everybody's kind of like just chit chatting, and then we'll kind of tap everybody that we know as a consumer and kind of meet us in the basement. We got something fun. Well, it didn't end up that way. It ended up like as dessert was going on with the entire family. It was awesome. Like everybody,
there was
even my
22
mom
people
embraced
there.
it. And there were people that didn't like, oh, I don't smoke, but I want to like grab a bag.
Yeah.
And yeah. So like we had more people. We had 16 bags, and more people wanted to play, but we had to narrow it down. We thought we'd have too many. So it was really cool. Everybody had they just had a shit ton of fun with it.
I
It
mean,
was
some
really
people
fun.
got an eighth. Some people got, like I said, it was a lot of weed.
Well, it was
and
fun.
A lot of different
The
types
bong
of
was a
weed.
big hit.
The bong was a big
It was
hit.
a
Yes.
chill, like a
It was a
I think it's called like a polar.
polar box.
It looks like a Yeti.
Yes.
And instead of a straw coming out of the top, it's like a bong neck, but
Yep.
it's rubber or silicone. And then like where your little like vent to let the steam out of the lid would be is the little
The
spot
bowl.
where you drop the glass bowl. It's super great idea. And everybody was fighting over that one.
Yeah, that one got traded twice.
It
That
did.
one got stolen
Stolen
twice.
a couple times, yeah.
And it was hella fun. I led the
My
charge.
mom got a Delta 8 vape.
Yes, it was weird. I don't want to do any of those Delta 8 vapes
No.
next year, but we had a bunch of
Yeah.
them. So we went to a couple different shows. So next year, though, what we should do is any cannabis company, accessory lines or bud or edible company that wants to donate to our White Elephant, let us know. Because all of our nieces and all of the nephews and all of the cousins and all the sisters and brothers will probably support your stuff because they all smoke and they all go to dispensaries here in Illinois and Missouri. So, and some of our nieces that we didn't know smoked or partaked
Yeah, yeah.
loved it, and they
were
do
super-
partake. And then
Yes.
we found out that they did. So it was super cool. A couple of nieces came up to me after, goes, "That was
Dope.
awesome, dope, wild, fun." You know, parents and kids just going for the White Elephant and just the excitement of it all, like what was in my bag, and oh my god, I got an eighth with a lanyard, with a sticker and a pin. You know, so all the brands that we had are getting fully marketed because most of those, they're all in their 20s, like from like 21 to 30 are all on social media they were all posting their bags with what was in it too.
It was fun. Yeah.
Yes. So next year, if you want to donate to our White Elephant, let us know. It'd be fun. We'll put you in the bags. But we had a lot of stuff that we
Yeah,
would never.
we did. I'm like, hey, let's go downstairs and look at all that. Like, because I would just
So
say, like,
much.
we would have stuff that we would use, and then we had stuff that we just like, we probably won't use this. Pop it in that bag. Pop it in that bag. Oh, put this over there.
Or never got to.
Yeah, or just had too much stuff.
Yeah.
And we usually give stuff away. Like people come over to the house. We usually give. So like that was on top of giving stuff away during the year.
Yeah.
So there's just too much. So it was fun. It was
And that's
fun.
what we always do. I mean, every time I have an excess of stuff that I know we're not going to get to, we're not going to finish, we're not going to smoke, we're not going to be able to. I mean, our nieces and nephews are all broke college students, and or
Young
just
adults,
young
yeah.
adults starting their lives out. So it's nice to be weed man. So yeah, so merry weed, happy holidays to our family and friends that got to partake in our White Elephant. Have a lot of fun. So we're looking forward to next year on that.
Definitely.
What else? Anything else? Christmas Day was fun, right? It was a good time.
I think the best part about both Christmas Eve and Christmas Day was that everybody was just like, I felt like we just turned this leaf away from COVID. Like,
Yeah.
everyone's getting back to normal. Like, it didn't seem like things had changed after COVID, but they really had. And I think this was like, to me, personally, it was the best Christmas I had had in a very long time.
It was nice.
Everybody hung around. There were no tensions. There was no drama. There was just, everybody was pretty cheerful and just relaxed. Maybe because everyone was smoking weed.
A lot of people smoked weed. On both
Because
days.
everybody hung out, like both nights. The get-togethers lasted well into the like late evening.
Yeah.
And started pretty early in the day.
Yeah.
Like, they were long get-togethers, and it was really nice.
We finished Christmas Day with a game of spoons.
Yeah, vicious spoons.
There was 8 of us
Mr.
playing.
Weedman and one of my sisters had it. Like, they went like
I was
cheek
playing
to
around
cheek
a lot.
and spoons about 10 years ago.
Yes.
And then the family didn't play it.
Because the joke
spoons were
was-
buried.
so wait.
Because here's the deal. Mr. Weedman and my sister are fiercely competitive. Although,
I'm not as bad as I
my
used to be.
sister would not say she is.
I'm not as
She'd
bad
say,
as
I'm not competitive.
I'm not as bad as I used to be. I've
you've
calmed
mellowed.
down in 10 years, 15 years, I would
So
say.
the two of them could not be the loser of the game. My sister lost. She was salty. She clawed out his hand, grabbing for spoons. I mean, they were getting crazy,
but wait,
diving across the table.
This was 10 years ago.
This is 10 years ago. But
so,
wait.
What I did to her was the best. Do you remember what I did to her?
Yeah, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. So she lost or you lost?
No, I lost the first year.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know how to
This
play.
10 years ago, you lost.
Yeah, and then
you took because he
I
couldn't
learned how
handle
to
the fact
play.
that he lost. He took like a package of plastic spoons, like probably 200 spoons, and hid them throughout her car. So for over a year, she would move
no, not just a
something.
year. Years.
She'd go in a pocket. She'd put down a visor. She'd move a seatbelt that she hadn't, and a spoon would fall out. Oh my gosh, the animosity over this.
Her daughters thought it was great.
Yeah.
That was the funniest thing ever.
And she did too, I'm sure, but it was frustrating.
when
all
you
the
found
same.
them like 3 or 4 years later,
So this
though.
was this was the year.
The
The game
rematch.
came back.
Yes.
And what was it? It was Mr. Weedman diving across the table, and it was my sister diving across her daughter who finished.
Gouged out
Like-
the newbie family member.
tackling each
O-Dog's
Oh
boyfriend.
yeah, Odog's boyfriend got a cut.
Got like his
Oh my
chunk
God.
taken out by Missy, and she grabbed her daughter in a headlock and like literally threw her on the ground.
Oh my
And
gosh.
fought over the spoon.
Well,
I grabbed
that's a little more
I
graphic
grabbed
than it was,
O-Dog's arm and bit her.
She
but
sillily, how would you say? She in a very silly way, like
was hanging upside
fell
down.
over her, like kind of half on the floor. It was, a little
Very
overplayed.
competitive.
It was cute.
It was very
It was
competitive, very fun. But who ended in the finals?
cute. Odog
And who else?
and her daughter.
What?
Right? You were in this. I don't know.
O-Dog and me were in the finals. O-Dog and her daughter. I know our daughter had a daughter.
Oh no, I'm saying my sister's daughter.
No.
I'm really high right
No,
now.
yes, you are.
I can't see so good.
It was me and O-Dog that ended up in the finals. And O-Dog won. She beat me.
It was just the two of you,
It was the finals.
just you and her.
Yes. There was 3, and it was
Yeah,
one of the sisters' daughters,
right,
but we
right.
knocked
That's
her
where I
out.
got lost,
We knocked
yeah.
her out. So, but O-Dog and I ended up in the
my God.
finals, and it was daddy-daughter, 1-to-1 match.
She took home the
She
spoon.
took home the spoon.
She was so happy. She's like, I'm keeping this spoon. My mom was just like, yes, you are.
The first, well, your mom was cheering,
Uh-huh. It was funny.
cheering that I would lose.
Everybody was.
Everybody wanted Mr. Weedman to lose.
Yeah.
And I don't know why.
Maybe because you were a little overzealous.
I was having fun.
You were having fun.
I was having fun. I was busting chops. I would go.
A
I
lot
would
of
have the
chops.
4 of a kind, and I'd be like, "Someone's at the door," and everybody would turn to look, and I'd grab one of the
That
spoons.
was bullshit. That was total fucking bullshit. Those cheap moves.
They were so good.
No, they're not.
Got me to the finals.
They're lame.
Got me to the
That's
finals.
bullshit. You cheated.
That's not cheating.
Yeah, it
There's
is.
no rule that you can't do that in
But
the
it's
rule of
like-
spoons.
Win because you're good at it.
I
Don't-
did. That
you
means
gotta-
I'm good at it.
You got to use distraction
oh,
tactics.
Gosh,
Bullshit.
here we go. Because you
You're a
didn't think of
wuss.
it.
You can't win without distraction tactics.
I won.
I stayed in
To the-
2/3 of the game.
Yeah, you were there. You were top.
without
You were
distractions.
You were top 4 during.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I
but
didn't have to tell people, oh, someone's at the door. Ow, something just stepped on my foot. And then you snag a spoon.
that's what I call
Cheap.
Nope. That's what you call it.
It's cheap.
You know what I call it?
What do you call it? Strategy.
Strategery.
Strategery. My ass. My ass.
Mrs. Weedman, salty. She's so salty. You know why she's salty? Because of the strategery part of it.
Oh,
She don't care if she
please,
wins
it's
or
not
loses.
strategery.
She doesn't care if she wins or loses. Mrs. Weedman's never been about that. Never. But when it comes to foul play
I don't like
and
it.
strategery and trying to get people
I like strategy.
Well, what was that? Mine was strategy.
But
It
it's
took one
unnecessary.
player out every time. Someone would always look at the door, so
I
they
know.
missed the spoon.
I just felt like just be a good player.
That is a good
Be
player.
a better player.
That was even the better.
No.
I made it to the
I don't
finals
see
and
it
you
that
did
way.
it.
We could go on. We could go on and on. I don't think anyone wants to hear about it.
You ready to start the show?
Yeah.
Let's do this. A message from the editor of Green State, the airing of cannabis grievances. So there's a whole part about how she feels about the pop culture holiday. It's become an ambiguous part of the American holiday season of pop culture and cannabis. While the vast majority of people that don't put up with a metal pole or engage in the feats of strength, many of us turn to classic Seinfeld episode, The Strike, every December 23rd and have a good laugh. For those who aren't familiar with the episode, it goes like this. The holiday season rolls around. It's revealed the neurotic George Costanza, Indigenous father, once created a new celebration after becoming embroiled in the battle for a doll he hoped to give his young son as a gift, a festivities for the rest of us. The holiday includes many unusual traditions. We've started new traditions. This year, we started a new tradition. It's fun, including adopting an anti-tinsel stance and, of course, the annual airing of grievances. As most of you know, the writer keeps things pretty positive regardless of how dark the world may be. But rolled around this year, the writer started to think about some of her own grievances, specifically in the cannabis industry. So, free the plant. That's a big thing that we talk about on the show. It's one of our mantras. Free the education, free the plant, stop the stigma, and free the 40,000 prisoners that are locked up for nonviolent cannabis crimes. So, free the plant. It's huge. Free the plant in this country. And what I believe in is freeing the plant is everyone should have the right to grow this plant. Without having a med card, you should be allowed to grow 12 plants at your house. Maybe more. I don't care, but you should be able to grow this just like you have a vegetable garden. So that's my stance on freeing the plant. The next point is let us succeed. The second grievance piggybacks off of first. Since cannabis remains illegal nationwide, people working in the multi-billion-dollar industry face roadblocks at every turn. Operators who are compliant in their home states cannot make ends meet due over regulation and taxation from the 280E. Licenses are expensive and difficult to obtain. Yes, in this state, Illinois especially now, not if you get an initial license from the state. It's what comes after. Is what's so expensive. Since most banks don't want to give cannabis people loans, the majority of legacy folks simply don't have the resources to get in the legal game. Simply posting about the plant can get anyone kicked off social media. I fucking hate social media because of that reason. I am Mrs. Weedman. We are so shadow banned. We are so getting beat up on social media. Mrs. Weedman can't even pick music on her post.
Nope. I have this random list of it's basically sound bites for social media.
Right.
That's what I get to pick from for my music.
Yeah. Social media.
And I'm playing their game. I don't use the word cannabis. I don't use the word smoke anymore.
But here's what I
nothing.
want to say about that. I saw sponsored ads
Oh,
of
yeah.
accessory companies being able to post all over Instagram sponsored ads, paid for ads, like on your stories where you click on your story and an ad comes up. It was a bond company selling a bond company. It was a company selling a box of stash boxes
yep.
and pipes and all. And I was like, yo, what the fuck
There's
is this
accounts
shit?
with celebrity status and influencer high 100,000 plus follower Instagram influencers that are just blowing big ass rips all day long. They don't get shut down.
No, we get fucked. The little people get fucked on social media unless you're paying big money for ads or sponsorships and any of
It's
that
just a
bullshit.
double standard.
It is such a fucking double standard.
They claim in all their rules that they follow the same rules for all,
Yeah.
and that's total bullshit.
Yeah, and you know what? The people that follow us now, I feel it's a little more genuine.
Yeah.
Because these are people we're building one person at a time or two people at a time that are following us, and we have real conversations with people.
Mostly
me,
we've met people
Right.
or we know someone who they know, kind of a thing. We're connected.
And you know what? I'm not looking to be a social media influencer anyway.
No, thank you.
I use it to promote the podcast and promote good stuff. I don't
want
care.
to be on there, not to be rude. I just don't want to be on there any longer than I have to.
Right. But the content we put out is actually really good and thoughtful content. And
we try.
And it's shadow banned and it doesn't get out there, which just frustrates the hell out of me. So I agree 100%. We all do better when we all do better. Speaking of division, the next gripe of this writer's is around the infighting taking place in the cannabis community. Yes! There's so much bickering, so much fighting, so much clicks. I'll say it, I don't give a fuck. Clicks that you're either in or you're out. Mm-hmm. It's terrible.
Before they've even met you.
Yes, it's terrible. All you fuckers out, this is cannabis. Cannabis was never supposed to be like this.
Well, it's not even cannabis. It's just human beings. Like, what makes any of us any more special than the next? Well, just be nice.
And kind.
And on behalf of business, if that's what it comes down to, that it's, that's how you operate as a business owner, to just be rude to your co-business owners. If that's the way you roll, whatever the fuck, do it, whatever. It's shitty. But it's such a huge freaking playing field. Do you know what I mean? Many people are involved in cannabis as consumers. Do you realize that cereal, bread, shampoo, they've all been around for fucking decades. And every year there's new products. And somebody moves over on the shelf and makes room for it. So get over yourselves. Sorry, I'm going to go on Slate rant right now. Get over yourselves and just be fucking nice. You don't have to be buddies with everybody. Just be nice. Boost each other up. There's we don't need to compete. Most of us aren't even doing the same thing. We're not competition. We are co-businesses trying to accelerate the market and give consumers options of things to consume or use to consume.
Right.
We're all effectively trying to get to the same place. So make room for one another.
Yeah.
Pat each other on the back and be nice.
Shake hands, kiss babies, and give hugs.
Be nice.
Shake hands, kiss babies, and give hugs.
Yeah.
That's how it should be. Don't talk shit about one another. Don't put people down. Boost people up. Uplift people. If they're promoting a product or if they're selling a product, this cannabis industry, and I've said it and I'll say it again, I say this to everybody I meet, there's enough money in this for everybody. And that's what cannabis should be about. This plant was beaten up for how many years, hidden, and only underground people made money at it. It's time that now it's out of the underground and into the public eye. It's time for the people that take a chance, put their full life savings into something.
And work their butt off and do their hustle. Be nice to them.
And stop fucking your petty bullshit fighting, talking shit behind people's back. It's wrong. It's wrong.
And it's through all aspects of the industry. We're not trying to target or pinpoint or say it's one thing or another. It's everywhere.
Yes. It's all types of businesses too.
But it's very
could be
pronounced.
Better.
Yeah.
We could be better. We could be better. We could do better. We could be better. So bring this miracle on. Let's get back to the basics of life. Let's beat it. Let's fuck you, the war on drugs. And there's still a lot of scars from it. They owe us that $1 trillion back. Don't think I forgot. I'll mention that to the day I die. And less talking, more doing. And let 2024 festivities begin.
Yeah.
Full spectrum CBD versus CBD isolate. Now, you always ask me, I give you these.
So confused.
Well, I give you these articles because it's the same thing when it came to Delta 9, hemp, THC, Delta 9 versus cannabis, THC, Delta 9. You were confused about that so many times. So I always give you articles. When I find more research, I throw you an article. So this is the same thing. You were just asking me about this the other day. What is CBD versus CBD isolate? You asked me. And I know we've talked about this in prior episodes, but it always helps to learn more when new research comes out. Definitely. So go ahead, Ms. Weedman.
Yes. So this is a really thorough and good article about full spectrum CBD versus CBD isolate and what's the difference. In CBD products, full spectrum CBD and CBD isolate are two primary forms. Understanding the difference between the two is essential for consumers to make informed choices about their CBD usage based on their needs and preferences. Full spectrum CBD. What exactly is it? Well, Full spectrum CBD is like a team of good stuff from the hemp plant. It's not just CBD. It contains other helpful things like small amounts of THC, not enough to make you feel high, oils, and natural plant matter. This mix is special because together, what it contains works better than CBD alone. This teamwork is called the entourage effect, and people choose full spectrum CBD because it brings together all of the full aspects of the hemp plant. What is CBD isolate? CBD isolate is the simplest form of CBD, made by extracting everything except CBD from the hemp plant. This means there's no THC, no oil, and no other plant elements. It's used by people who want just the benefits of CBD without any trace of THC. This is especially important for those who need to pass drug tests or who have sensitivities to other hemp compounds. CBD isolate is also versatile. You can use it in various ways, like adding it to food or drinks or ingesting it directly. It's a go-to option for pure CBD needs. So what is the big difference? Like really, they're both CBD, right? So what is the difference between them? Well, it's what's inside of them. Full spectrum CBD offers a broader experience because it has many components from the hemp plant, while CBD isolate offers a more focused experience. If you want the full range of hemp plant benefits, go for the full spectrum. If you need CBD or want to avoid THC, isolate is the right choice for you. Is one stronger than the other? Full spectrum is often considered stronger due to the entourage effects, where the combination of cannabinoids, including THC, work synergistically, potentially enhancing overall efficacy. In contrast, CBD isolate is pure CBD, offering targeted benefits without the synergy of additional compounds. What are the benefits of full spectrum CBD? They help with pain management, anxiety and stress relief, improved sleep, support for neurological health, anti-inflammatory effects, and heart health. These diverse benefits highlight full spectrum CBD's holistic approach to health and wellness. What are the benefits of CBD isolate? Well, non-psychoactive properties, pain management and relief, anxiety and stress reduction, improved sleep, consistency in dosage, and less likely to contain allergens, and drug testing safety. Is full spectrum CBD better for you? Exploring the benefits of full spectrum CBD reveals a world of potential for those who seek holistic wellness solutions. Unlike its counterpart, CBD isolate, full spectrum CBD is akin to tapping into the full symphony of the hemp plant's benefits. It's not just about one note, it's about the harmony created by the entire spectrum of cannabinoids, terpenes, and flavonoids found naturally in cannabis. This blend works by what's known as the entourage effect, where the diverse elements synergistically enhance each other's positive attributes. Full spectrum CBD stands out primarily because of this entourage effect. Imagine you're in a music concert. Sure, the lead singer is great, but it's the combination of the guitars, drums, and keyboard that creates a rich, full sound. Similarly, full spectrum CBD brings together various cannabinoids, including trace amounts of THC and compounds like terpenes, which are thought to have their own therapeutic properties. This combination is believed to intensify the therapeutic effects, potentially offering more comprehensive relief from stress, discomfort, and other ailments compared to CBD alone. Full spectrum CBD is a reflection of the plant in its most natural form. For those leaning toward natural and less processed wellness products, this form of CBD maintains the integrity and full profile of the hemp plant. It's like choosing whole organic foods over processed ones. The less tampering, the closer you are to nature's intended balance and benefits. When is CBD isolate the better choice or the right choice for you? The purest form of cannabidiol, which is CBD isolate, offers a unique experience in the diverse world of CBD products. It stands out as a specialized option for those who need the singular benefits of CBD without any additional compounds from the hemp plant. This makes it a particularly appealing choice for CBD newcomers or individuals who prefer to avoid THC due to personal preferences or drug testing requirements. At its core, isolate is 99% pure CBD. This level of purity is beneficial for people who require higher doses of CBD for their wellness needs. In scenarios where specific health conditions require larger doses, CBD isolate allows for substantial consumption without the added elements found in another type of CBD product. Its flavorless nature allows for versatile usage. It can be easily mixed into a variety of foods and beverages without altering their taste, and it is essential for patients or people seeking a straightforward THC-free CBD experience. It offers a focused approach to utilizing CBD by delivering its benefits in a concentrated form. And that just made me think, like, why couldn't you just macrodose isolate and microdose? Well, I guess if you can't have the THC, forget it.
You just snort it. CBD isolate.
All right. How to use full spectrum CBD. Taking full spectrum CBD effectively can enhance your wellness journey. The most popular way to use full spectrum CBD full spectrum CBD is in oil form. Got it. Taken sublingually. This method allows for fast absorption and maximizes the effectiveness. It is also available in capsules or edibles for those who prefer a more straightforward approach. These options are ingested and take longer, but their effects can last longer. They also come in topical applications like creams, balms, and lotions for localized relief. When it comes to dosage, start small and gradually increase to find your optimal level. Everyone responds differently, so it's important to experiment. And consistency is key. Regular use helps maintain a stable level in your body, potentially leading to more effective results. So, how do you use CBD isolate? Well, a highly effective method of using isolate is sublingual administration, dosing a small amount under your tongue and holding for 30 seconds while it enters your bloodstream via the mucous membranes, leading to fast absorption.
See, I told you, you gotta snort it.
And quick effects, ideal for immediate relief. Another popular method is infusing into your own oils, and then you can use those for baking or cooking. And it can also be incorporated into culinary adventures in food and drinks. Can it be applied topically through creams and lotions and balms? And it can be tailored to fit your lifestyle and wellness goals. And the types of CBD products that are available are much like cannabis. Navigating the diverse landscape of CBD products can be overwhelming, but understanding the different types available can help tailor your experience and specific needs. There are oils, there's tinctures, there are edibles, gummies, baked goods, topicals, creams, balms, lotions, capsules, pills, everything. You can vape. And lastly, CBD isolate for those wanting pure THC-free CBD is available in powder or crystal form.
There's a new way too.
And so you can mix it into your tea and coffee.
There's a new way now.
What are you going to say?
You could snort it.
Oh my gosh. Don't snort your CBD, please. Please don't.
I'm just kidding.
Jeez.
But I heard you could.
Each type of CBD product caters to different preferences, whether it's ease of use, specific targeting, or consumption style. Always prioritize quality products from reputable sources. Understanding your specific needs, preferences, and the unique attributes of CBD products is key to making an informed choice. Also, look for products that provide third-party lab testing results, ensuring purity and potency, and check for any additional ingredients to be sure they align with your health goals and won't trigger sensitivities. Lastly, don't forget, if you're on medications, check with your doctor or your pharmacist before incorporating anything new into your regimen.
Yeah, and don't snort it if you're on other medications either.
You're funny, Mr. Weedman.
Oh, I'm only funny when I'm high. I read something.
You did?
Just the things on how to keep your marriage. I always read these little clips and blurbs about how to how to make your marriage better. And one of them always says, being silly and laughter is key to a long-lasting marriage.
That's right. You gotta goof around.
Got to be silly.
Even if it's corny.
Sometimes I'm a little too silly. Mrs. Weedman gets a little annoyed with me, but I like being silly.
Well, silly and obnoxious are a little different, right?
I cross the line. I'm silly a lot, but sometimes it goes over to the obnoxious.
You get wild.
I'm a wild and crazy guy.
You are a lot like Steve Martin.
I'll take that as a fucking compliment right there. So some of the things that happened in 2023, some newbie states, Delaware, Maryland, Minnesota, and Ohio, the U.S. Virgin Islands, which I still say we should go move, legalize marijuana possession and regulating retail cannabis markets. It's awesome. Some pardons this year. Joe Biden just did some more last week. He did 11. I think that was way too less, but he's done some throughout the whole year. He's done some, but not enough. So, also Schedule 3. They're talking about moving cannabis from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3, which I don't think we should. I think it should just be taking off the list altogether. It's just my opinion. But at least it was talks. New York, just fucking shit up. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. I read an article today about some farmers. I'll talk about it on the next episode. But New York, man, you could be the biggest market in the world for cannabis, and you just don't know what the fuck you're doing. Thank God people can home grow in that state. Last Prisoner Project. We talk about them a lot. In 2023, the Last Prisoner Project accomplished many great things. The nonprofit organization provided 65 constituents with reentry grants of $335,000 was directly distributed to constituents this year. Another $45,000 was distributed to constituents commissionaries. So I like Last Prisoner Project, and so does Mrs. Weedman. We support them thoroughly. When you buy something on 8decades.com, you can round up, right? And that money goes to Last Prisoner Project. So we support them. We hand out a lot of their stickers too. So thanks for what you're doing. Lowered insurance premiums, which is kind of cool. A study published in the Journal of International Drug Policy found that the states with legalized medical cannabis residents reported a significant reduction in private health insurance premiums. Yay for cannabis. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in 2024 moving forward with cannabis. I'm so stoked to see all the good things that come out of it. So then the year of the tipping point, Mrs. Weedman.
Yeah.
Tell us about it. I'm ready.
Yeah. So Cannabis Wire is a website. They have subscriptions, and it's let's see what they call themselves. Every single day, every single story, we bring this decade of experience in journalism and expertise on cannabis to our reporting. So it's research, what's going on in politics, regulation, and research in the cannabis industry. So pretty cool bit of resource there, lots of reading material. So they brought us a look at the significant moments of cannabis in 2023 and a look ahead at a potentially historic 2024. This year, we will be remembered, or this year will be remembered. I'm pretty stony baloney here for a number of reasons. I'm trying to act like I got my shit together. I don't know, though. The year will be remembered for a number of reasons as a turning point for cannabis. But there is one clear moment that stood out above the rest. The news that the Department of Health and Human Services, the DHHS, recommended to the Drug Enforcement Administration that cannabis be moved from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3. It is almost certain that what happened next is the scheduling review, which President Joe Biden called for in October of 2022, and that will be the most watched development of 2024. The DHHS recommendation is unprecedented, and if the DEA disagrees, that too will be unprecedented. And if they agree, what happens next will have implications across the globe. In the meantime, as we reflect upon 2023 and look ahead to 2024, several other major themes emerged. Federal regulation knocks at the door. In January, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration made waves in the cannabis world when it announced that existing regulatory frameworks are insufficient when it comes to allowing CBD in foods and supplements, and that it hoped to work with Congress on a new regulatory pathway for CBD. For years, industry stakeholders had hoped that the FDA was working on this and would propose a pathway itself, so the announcement was met with plenty of frustration. Shortly after the announcement, Cannabis Wire had an exclusive interview with Norm Birnbaum, about his newly created cannabis role within the FDA and next steps for the agency. Birnbaum, previously a cannabis regulator in New York and Rhode Island and the founding president of the Cannabis Regulators Association, joined the FDA in late 2022 as a senior public health advisor on cannabis. The FDA made waves again in August as it played a crucial role in the DHHS cannabis scheduling recommendation to the DEA. While the FDA has largely been in the spotlight, other federal agencies had some of their own newsworthy cannabis developments, from the Census Bureau's release of its first cannabis data product to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention's investigation of the first death attributed to occupational asthma in the U.S. cannabis production environment. In October, the National Institute of Health announced that it would create a resource center for cannabis and cannabinoid research, the most ambitious effort to date from the federal government to centralize and support cannabis research. Cannabis Wire interviewed Patrick Still, who has led the effort, to learn more about the forthcoming center. He said, "The center will help facilitate needed research to address many of the questions arising from widespread availability of cannabis. The lack of high quality studies has resulted in insufficient data on the basic mechanisms, safety, and efficacy for many of the cannabinoids and other constituents of cannabis. We envision the center will help close the gap." But much more has transpired in the cannabis research landscape this year. The National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine formed a committee on the public health consequences of changes in the cannabis policy landscape. The committee, which met twice this year and will meet again in January, will detail cannabis availability in the U.S., assess regulatory framework for the cannabis industry using a health equity lens, and describe strengths and weaknesses of medical and non-medical surveillance systems. Additionally, it will outline recommendations to minimize societal harms and inform policy research over the next 5 years. In June, the National Institute on Drug Abuse brought together researchers from across the globe to discuss the research and science of substance use, including cannabis, for its international forum. And this year, one of the panels was exclusively focused on cannabis. This forum will put a spotlight on how much global jurisdictions continue to learn from each other. For example, as part of its information gathering on cannabis, the French Monitoring Center for Drugs led a qualitative study that focused on 6 jurisdictions in North America, paying special attention to policy-specific measures, price and taxation, licensing rules, and so on, and the related outcomes in a comparative perspective. More Americans than ever before are in favor of adult use legalization. While polling has shown strong support for legalization for most of the past decade, the latest Gallup poll saw support jump to 70%. And with legalization of cannabis in 4 states this year, Delaware, Maryland, Minnesota, and Ohio, a majority of Americans now live in a jurisdiction with adult use access. All of this trickles up. Elected officials who represent these states in Congress often bring to the national legislation debate the experiences in their home states. And despite this movement at a state level, Congress didn't get any bills over the finish line this year. However, there were several significant developments with regard to the evolving debate among lawmakers on both sides of the aisle. In July, Congress picked up the baton from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration on CBD when 4 members of Congress issued a request for information seeking data from subject matter experts and stakeholders regarding FDA regulation of cannabidiol. The next steps remain up in the air. And in September, cannabis banking legislation cleared a major hurdle: the Senate Banking Committee. While such legislation managed to clear the House multiple times, it moved for the first time in the Senate this year. However, it has since stalled. And finally, there's a delay of the 2023 Farm Bill. This behemoth agricultural legislation has very little to do with cannabis, but has the potential to reshape the landscape. To quote the Cannabis Regulators Association's letter to Congress on the bill, quote, "The 2018 Farm Bill was drafted with a focus on agricultural commodities and non-intoxicating hemp products. However, the language of the bill has inadvertently resulted in a thriving market for intoxicating cannabinoid products that are included or claimed to be included within the definition of hemp. End of quote. There is a large push among cannabis regulators and some industry members to address these products in the new Farm Bill. Action on that bill was pushed into 2024. Still, major new names lobbied. Cannabis Wire unearthed some unexpected names lobbying on cannabis this year. In January, we heard that American Express is including cannabis and it included cannabis banking in its disclosure. And in October, another Cannabis Wire scoop found that Bank of America and National Rifle Association did the same. And globally, the pendulum swung in both directions. In April, Germany's adult use plan, which was in the works since 2022, was essentially cut in half. Chancellor Olaf Scholz's administration originally planned to legalize cannabis for adults and establish a regulated system for sales, but after pushback from the European Commission, the bill put forth includes only home cultivation and small co-op-like clubs. That bill got a hearing in Parliament's Health Committee in November and now awaits a final vote. A bill for regulated sales is expected to be drafted in 2024. So on and on and on. It's a lot. Looking ahead, they say really much of what happened in 2023 will continue to play out next year. New York regulators will continue to battle litigation that will slow the adult use rollout. Regulators across the country, at the state level and federally, will grapple with intoxicating hemp products until a farm bill or some other legislation brings about change. More states and countries will pursue reform for medicinal or adult use. Congress will continue to debate cannabis, but remains unlikely to pass anything. And of course, everyone will hold their breath for a decision on the cannabis rescheduling from the DEA.
Good one.
Yeah.
Really good one. The tipping point.
I'm thirsty.
That was you read.
That was a long one.
You read two long
I feel
articles.
like I was reading for an hour.
In Southern Oregon, also in Maine, and also in Oklahoma, illegal cannabis has overwhelmed the legal industry with all the illegal grows that are going on. Saw a couple different news articles today talking about a lot of illegal Chinese grows going in those three states big time. Marijuana will gain millions of consumers over alcohol, with sales hitting $37 billion by 2027, investment bank projects. Wisconsin could potentially legalize medical marijuana this session. Top senator says as governor pushes border reform. But as of about 5 hours ago today, top GOP Wisconsin lawmaker is pretty confident medical marijuana bill will pass next year with just the Republican votes. Because I guess the Republicans want to lessen the bill and Democrats kind of want to put more into it. Just come together and fix the shit. Don't take pride in who did it. Just get it done for the people of Wisconsin so they don't have to travel over the border all the time and go back to your state and get arrested because it's still illegal there. So stupid. Arizona officials will stop investigating reports of newborn marijuana exposure if parent is medical cannabis patient. It's fucking just so weird. Federal cannabis legalization could generate $8.5 billion in tax revenue. $8.5 billion in tax revenue. You don't deserve any of it. None of it. You should go back to the people working in the industry, the people that are in jail that you should pay back, and the $1 trillion you need to pay back to the American taxpayer. That's where it should go to. And it should go to the workers and the owners of the industry so they don't have to pay that much. They can pay their employees better. You can get them on the pension plans, and they can retire in 20 years just like they do in every other trade. This should be a trade, not retail. A trade, and the owners of dispensaries and the owners of cultivation should be taken care of also with very big tax breaks and less money they should have to spend if they do better at giving their employees more at cultivation and at dispensaries and sales folks too, and people that are just in the industry in general. It needs to go to them, not to the police departments, not to this. It needs to go to help people also to get better, get off drugs and opioids, and they can give them free cannabis. Also to vets. Vets should be taught at home how to grow their own so they don't get a lot of money. They can spend it on their equipment to grow their own medicine. That's what this $8.5 billion and all the tax dollars should be used for the people in the industry and the people that are getting robbed on high taxes because you're using it as your cash cow, especially here in Illinois. Just my opinion. Governor Devine urges Ohio legislators to get legal cannabis market up and running. He said it's a mess. You just passed the law too. It's crazy. How could it be a mess already? Cannabis dispensaries top target for labor unions as more states legalized. Yes, you're going to get targeted. And I still think you should start your own union and do it right. Come together at the table and work together. These other unions only want your money. They don't understand cannabis. 120 pharmacies in Georgia applied to sell medical cannabis, but the DA says, hold my beer, and shuts it down. You should have legal dispensaries. You should have, it should be, I'm not shocked that, I should say, I am shocked that it's not legal, recreational in Georgia and medical fully, and there's dispensaries there. Why do you want pharmacies selling your stuff? Is pot legal now?
Yeah, it just depends on where you're at.
Tell me about it, Ms. Weedman.
Why weed or marijuana in this article is both legal and illegal in the U.S., despite Biden's pardons. President Joe Biden's pardon of certain marijuana-related crimes made headlines Friday, but a messy patchwork of state legislation means the vast majority of convictions remain unchanged. Biden's announcement expands on an earlier proclamation in October of 2022 that pardoned people convicted of simple possession under federal law. It adds to the crimes for which people can be pardoned, including attempted single possession and marijuana use on federal lands and in Washington, D.C., but it does not apply to state-level marijuana convictions. The president has called on governors to follow his lead and pardon people convicted of similar state court offenses. Just as no one should be in a federal prison solely due to the use or possession of marijuana, no one should be in a local jail or state prison for that reason either, he said. Experts say the pardon's reach is limited because it does not apply to people convicted on state charges who make up the bulk of these drug cases. The question is marijuana legal where you live? Well, that's confusing. Technically, pot is illegal at the federal level everywhere, even though Biden is moving to stop federal consequences for possession. Marijuana remains a Schedule I drug as determined by the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration. It's considered among the highest potential for abuse, along with drugs like heroin, LSD, and ecstasy. Makes sense, right? Not. Well, the DEA is considering a recommendation by Biden's Health and Human Services Department to reclassify marijuana as a Schedule III drug. With the federal government stepping back from marijuana enforcement, it's up to the states how lenient or strict to be. There isn't always a simple answer. In cases where the state stops short of recreational legalization, people can face an array of consequences that depend on their personal circumstances, how much pot they are found with, and the type of cannabis they have. But even in the most clear cases with full legalization, the state law is technically mismatched with federal law. The result of all of these confusing laws has a real effect on thousands of Americans. The National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws estimated police made more than 350,000 arrests on marijuana-related charges in 2020 alone, a 36% decrease from 2019, and the lowest tally recorded since the early 1990s. The advocacy group attributed the decline to statewide legislative changes. Despite the decline, drug arrests continue to disproportionately affect people of color. The Baker Institute said Black Americans accounted for 38.8% of marijuana possession arrests in 2020, despite comprising only 13.6% of the U.S. population and using marijuana at the same rate as white Americans, according to the National Survey on Drug Use and Health. According to the American Civil Liberties Union, of 8.2 million marijuana arrests from 2001 to 2010, 88% were for just possessing marijuana. The federal government is joined by a handful of states in a complete prohibition on marijuana, including South Carolina, Idaho, Kansas, and Nebraska. According to the Council of State Governments, states have taken four main approaches to marijuana policy: full criminalization, legalization of medicinal marijuana, recreational decriminalization, and recreational legalization. Decriminalization entails removing criminal sanctions from possession and use, but still classifying the drug as illegal, meaning the punishment is reduced from prison time to paying a civil fine or attending treatment. Citing data from the FBI, Normal found marijuana-related arrests were least likely in the West, where most states have legalized possession, and most likely in the Northeast, which accounted for about half of all arrests. But the group expects to see change as several states in the region move toward legalization. Though some states have taken a hard stance for or against legalization, others grapple with how and if they'll overhaul marijuana laws, which leaves millions of Americans under a confusing legal framework. Adding to the confusion, several states have legalized medicinal use of marijuana, while recreational use can still trigger prosecution and penalties up to jail time. Though recreational use is legal in almost half of the U.S. states and in Washington, D.C., and medicinal use is legal in at least 38 states as of last year. Last year, 5 additional states had marijuana legalization measures on the ballot. Missouri and Maryland voted to legalize recreational use, while Arkansas, North Dakota, and South Dakota voted against full recreational use. In all, nearly half of the U.S. states and the District of Columbia have legalized small amounts of marijuana for recreational use, and polling this year shows that 70% of Americans support legalization.
Yeah.
Confusing.
Very.
Normal, spelled NORML I'll look them up, .org or .com. Just search NORML. And they are a fantastic resource for knowing your state laws. So there's very easy, clickable access to a map. Click on your state, and you can read everything.
Yeah, you can read about all the laws. Yeah, it's amazing.
So,
great
it's
website.
Good to know.
Good
really
resources. Great job, Mrs. Weedman. International news. Italian marijuana activists have already collected nearly half the signatures needed to put legalization measures before Parliament. Hell yeah, go Italy. I want to go back there and smoke some weed. Alberta, Canada to allow cannabis retails to sell products at trade shows and festivals. Fuck yeah, you should. If alcohol companies can sell alcohol at shows, why can't cannabis companies? I'm fucking all for that. Around the world. Switzerland establishes Europe's most advanced legal adult use cannabis trial. So in the Ukraine, lawmakers approved medical marijuana legalization bill, sending it to President Zelensky's desk. But Ukraine's medical cannabis legalization faces opposition. Legal action looms. So weird. Just fucking legalize it, will you already? Australians' cannabis brands can now enter Europe. Germany, the largest importer, Australia, sells some weed to Germany. Local fan favorite here, Mrs. Weedman, Vic Menas.
Yeah.
He's done a lot for Illinois cannabis equity. I see a lot of his people working in the dispensaries. They show up at a lot of vendor shows. I respect who makes their brand here, which you're going to talk about, and here in Illinois. I think they're one of the better growers here in Illinois for for dispensaries, cultivation. So go ahead, tell us about it, Mrs. Weedman.
Yeah. At the age of 16 in 2010, rapper Vic Menas released his debut solo mixtape, Straight Up, and joined the band Kids These Days. He grew up selling weed and mixtapes and is now running the first black-owned cannabis brand in Illinois with 93 Boys. He also unveiled Books Before Bars, a nonprofit organization dedicated to providing books to underserved prison libraries. The program is funded through 93 Boys in partnership with Arise, the largest aeroponic cannabis cultivator in the world. Arise's product line includes premium flower, pre-rolls, and vape cartridges, from sativa to indica to custom hybrid blends. Menza's cannabis brand 93 Boys is an equity-focused company, which is the first to be Black-owned and led in the state of Illinois. Their mission is to reinvest in the communities and individuals that have been historically and disproportionately affected by outdated laws, prejudices, and assumptions regarding cannabis consumption. Menza's personal community-based nonprofit, Save Money, Save Life, uses proceeds from the brand, and last year they filled up gas tanks of more than 200 cars on Chicago's South Side. When asked what inspired him to get into the cannabis business, he said, "As someone with lifelong experience of anxiety and depression, it was amazing to be able to help people facing those and other issues while working with something I love. The war on drugs has had a devastating impact on my community, and yet our representation in the cannabis industry is less than 2%. 93 Boys is changing that narrative while combining high quality, tastemaker weed with socially conscious initiatives. As the laws have changed, Black people have been completely excluded from the process. Black ownership in the cannabis industry is little to none. That's why 93 Boys, being the first Black cannabis brand in Chicago, is so important. In this country, Black men are still incarcerated for possession of marijuana and are fighting to be set free. So we have seen them out in action, and we just saw one of their like little display stands in a dispensary today.
Yeah.
So they're making a presence, and I think it's really cool.
I like the yellow and black colors too. It's awesome, traditional. You know, I like the. He's got South Side on his neck because we're from the South Side, so I love it. It makes me happy to see it. So, as I call myself a South Side scumbag, I love it that he's from the South Side. Ms. Weedman shaking her head, like, really, Mr. Weedman, you had to say that? Yes, there's a few of us we call ourselves that because we are. As Mrs. Weedman is appalled. Ozzy Osbourne. One of my faves. You know, he's just great. Been in my life since I started listening to him in the late, you know, probably my dad had it on the radio, you know, so I probably have heard it since I was born. You know, so, but it's no secret he was a heavy drug user, but he was on a podcast, the Osbourne's podcast, and he was talking about cannabis use and how he's for cannabis legalization. He has smoked he calls it the sweet leaf again to help him with his anxiety, his Parkinson's and stuff like that. So he doesn't regret anything he's really done in his life, but you know, he regrets like how his body is now, probably from some of the stuff he did in the past, because he was a very heavy drug user. There's a story about Ozzy Osbourne when he was touring with Motley Crue, and he was so coked out. They were doing the grossest thing, gross each other out, and he went to the ground and snorted ants off the side of the pool. Is the story.
He may have been slightly under the influence
well, he was
of something.
ripping lines, I guess, for 3 days. So
Madness.
Yes, complete madness. So, I mean, I loved him with Black Sabbath, though. One of my favorite songs of all time is War Pigs. I mean, he's just amazing. So the music that he put out, I mean, but he does believe in cannabis legalization, and he's all for it. So I think it's great. And Ozzy, man, I hope you live for another 100 years and get on stage at least one more time. So, Mrs. Weedman.
Mr. Weedman.
That's the end of the show.
Yeah, it's the end of the year.
End of the year. Do you got anything else to say then?
Well,
last show of the year right here.
Yeah. We just thank all of you who come back and continue to listen and support us. And we really enjoy doing this. This is just a super passion project for Mr. Weedman. And if you don't know, I kind of joined along with some hesitations back in 2020 during COVID, and here I am. It's the end of 2023, so I must enjoy it too. I'm a little bit more on the shy side when you might see us out and about and meet us, but I really do appreciate all the listeners and the support that we get, and everyone's continued support of 8 Decades, which is my little passion project on the side. And I just hope that 2024 brings everybody just better times than ever before, and lots of health and happiness and good things for all of you. So, Mr. Weedman.
That was good, Miss Weedman.
You know, every once in a while.
Almost brought a tear to my eye. The show will be going on for 5 years, coming here in 4/20 of 2024. 5 years. And when it started was just a blip of just like I didn't even know where this would go. When I started this with Paulie, our son, Dov Boy, T, Shoddy, and we started this, and it was just going to be like once a month, once every other month. I talked them into doing it because I was passionate about weed, but knew I couldn't do this by myself. And I just thought that doing a podcast with people I loved and talking about something that I love was going to be fun. And the first, 6 episodes, like we didn't know what the fuck we were doing, but we had fun doing it. We got high, and we were, the Rick and Morty bong was always a thing. We all hailed Rick and Morty, and the process of that show to where they left me and got them to come back for a couple episodes. Paulie, Dovboy, and T came back and joined me for a couple shows, and then Mr. G and Jay Cush on episode 13 and 14 came and did a couple shows with me to help me out. And then all of a sudden, Mrs. Weedman at episode 15. And 184 episodes later, this is 184 episodes before the end of the year. This is the last show of the year later. And then add a second show with Big Earl and the Grow Hour. And we've had some just phenomenal learning with Big Earl. And I'm so happy this show has evolved to where it's almost a once-a-week show now. And I love Big Earl, and I love everything he's taught me about growing. And he helps me so much putting these shows together and helping us get guests to keep the Grow Hour going and helping people learn. And all the guests that have been on the Grow Hour, growers, breeders. We had a doctor on. We had Deep Roots, Rachel from Deep Roots, teaching us about culture. It's just been amazing, 5 years, and all the people I've met across the world. I mean, we've interviewed people from Spain all the way to here. We've had listeners in 144 countries around the world listen to our show. It's just I'm very humbled, and thank you, and humbled, and just sometimes I just shake my head and going, holy shit. We just got somebody who on Instagram, not on Instagram, sorry, on Spotify, because you can message people now on Spotify, and I'm sorry, I don't know how to use it at all. I just go on and put a message out there. So if you see me actually do a message, it's like a week or two later, because I don't understand the Spotify messaging thing at all. But thank you, the person from New Zealand wishing us a Merry Christmas. That was special. Skunk Ass messaged us again. I want to thank you too. So all the people that message us on Spotify, thank you. I don't know how to use it, so I apologize, but thank you for taking the time to message us. It means a lot when I read it. Also, all the DMs we get from people around the world, stickers that have gone across the world, hearing stories of how the show has helped people across the world is special, right? Mm-hmm. People reached out to you when you weren't feeling well, too. So thank you for that.
Yep.
2023, I lost my Instagram, so I lost 5,000 people that were like, I want, if you're listening and you haven't rejoined my new Instagram, We Man 420 Chronicles 2.0, please come back and talk to me again, because it was very special. All those DMs I got, I miss a lot of you people out there, and folks and humans and from around the world. So come on back to my Instagram and just say hi again. I miss that a lot. It just I've been a lot of special people. All the vendor events we've gotten to do over this last year, all the people we've shook hands, and all the joints I've stuffed for people and gave away. Mm-hmm.
And joints that have been given to us.
Yeah, joints that have been given to us, and all the joints we've gotten, all the smoke we've gotten to smoke with people.
Yeah.
All the stuff I've learned from the local people here too, the vendor fairs and stuff. And one of my favorite lines of when we met one of the vendors, and she came up to our table and we were talking, and I love this. If you ain't working, if you ain't networking, you ain't working.
You're not working if you're not networking.
If you're not you're not working if you're
Don't
not
sit
networking.
behind your table and not talk to anybody.
Go out there and shake hands and kiss babies and give hugs.
Yes.
Right?
That's right.
Go out there and talk to everybody. Get to know people. And I when she said that to me, it really hit home, because I'm in sales and I talk to a lot of people. When I do those vendors events, I always feel like I have to be stuck at the table, and I do walk around. But this last couple of times I've walked around, and actually, like, you always feel like you're bugging somebody because you're not really buying anything,
right?
But
just introduce yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come out of your table.
Put a face to the Instagram handle. Get to know what they're all about.
Yeah. Small business owners.
Shake hands.
What this country was founded on. People hate capitalism, but small business owners are the best people ever, because they have a product that they built and made and sell and make a living on. And that's what they do. And so support the small business owners. Support all the people at these vendor fairs. get on their Instagram and tell them how much you like their product. And, it's special. It's just, this industry is special and it needs to stay special. Like I talked about earlier when we talked about the clicks. Fuck the clicks. Get out of here. We don't need it. Everybody should be friends with everybody. No one should be mad at anybody. If you're mad at somebody for making money and their brand is doing better than yours, then do better. Do better. Or ask that person how they did. Don't be mad. Right? Be happy. Be happy for that person's success. They started from the bottom. Probably had to take their own money out of their own pocket to start. Right? Be happy for people in 2024. Be happy for yourselves. Put some goals down. Write some goals and succeed at them. You don't have to go crazy with them. Write 4 goals down that you want to do in 2024. Right? Do that. Start simple. Start small. Keep it simple, silly. Because nobody's stupid. So I want to say that I love you all out there. Thank you for sticking with us all these years. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the love. Just when I see you out in public, man, just give me a hug. I'd love to give you a hug back. Share a joint with me, And peace be with you all out there in 2024. We need to stop this violence. We need to stop these wars. We need to stop people from dying. And we need to help people and build people up instead of breaking people down. And these wars across this world, in this country too, but everywhere. I'm not even going to mention all the wars because there's so many. And there's some that we're not even seeing. And there's wars. So just peace and harmony and love and happiness. This world would be a better place. And as Paulie always says, fucking smoke smart. Puff, puff, and away.
Puff, puff, pass.
Check out our cannabis lifestyle brand online at 8decades.com. Our custom smokes and accessories are perfect for your coffee table, bedroom nightstand, or kitchen counter. They're designed for you to show them off. The Canna community is also loving our hemp and cotton blend t-shirts, sweatshirts, scarves, and hats, finished off with our 8 Decades logo. We've got some awesome, long-lasting goods that will be your favorite for years to come. 8 Decades, because a 9th decade of cannabis prohibition isn't acceptable. 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 Acceptable.